Ambassador Krelnak stood before the assembled delegates of the Galactic Concordat, his crystalline carapace gleaming under the station's artificial lights. For 3 cycles, the war had raged across 12 systems. For 3 cycles, humanity had been a persistent thorn in the Concordat's perfectly ordered galaxy. Now finally it would end. The terms are generous, Krelnax announced, his translator converting his chittering clicks into standard Concordat speech. Humanity will dismantle 90% of its military fleet. They will surrender their outer colonies. They will submit to Concordat oversight of all technological development. In return, we grant them their lives and the privilege of existing within our protection. Murmurs of approval rippled through the chamber. The Velkari delegates nodded their elongated heads. The Thros representatives pulsed with satisfied bioluminescence. Even the usually stoic Archeons seemed pleased. "And the human representative has agreed to hear these terms?" asked High Counselor Vexra. "Their ambassador arrives within the hour," Krelnax confirmed. "Given their military losses in the Kepler offensive and the siege of New Harmony, they have no choice but to accept." The humans had fought well, Krelnax admitted privately. Better than expected for such a young species. Their tactics were unpredictable, their determination bordering on irrational. But determination couldn't overcome mathematics. The Concordat had numbers, resources, and 5,000 years of military doctrine. Humanity had been spacefaring for barely 2 centuries. The war was over. Humanity simply didn't know it yet. Captain Sarah Chen walked through the corridors of Concordat Station Alpha with measured steps. Her dress uniform was crisp, her posture military straight, her expression neutral. Behind her walked Commander James Park and Dr. Amara Okafor, Earth's finest strategist and xenobiologist respectively. "They think we're here to grovel," Park muttered. "Let them think that," Chen replied quietly. For exactly 12 more minutes. They entered the Grand Council chamber where 300 of the galaxy's most powerful beings waited. Chen noticed their posture, relaxed, confident, some barely paying attention. Good. Krelnax approached, his translator humming. "Ambassador Chen, we are pleased you have seen reason. The terms of your surrender?" "Peace treaty," Chen interrupted smoothly. "Yes, of course. Peace treaty." Krelnax's mandibles twitched in what his species considered a smile. "As I outlined, humanity will reduce its fleet, surrender colonies, and accept our technological oversight. In return, no," Chen said simply. The chamber fell silent. 300 alien beings suddenly focused entirely on the human standing before them. "I beg your pardon?" Krelnax's translator struggled with his tone. "No," Chen repeated, louder this time. "We reject your terms. All of them." High Counselor Vexra rose from her seat, her 6 eyes narrowing. "You are not in a position to refuse, human. Your fleet is scattered. Your colonies burned. Your homeworld stands exposed." Chen smiled then, and something in that expression made several delegates shift uncomfortably. "You misunderstand our position, Counselor. We didn't come here to negotiate surrender. We came to deliver our own terms." "Preposterous," Krelnax chittered. "You have lost this war." "Have we?" Park stepped forward, activating a holographic display. 3 days ago, our science vessels completed deployment of the Hawking network. 47 quantum relays positioned across your primary trade routes, each one capable of generating a localized spatial distortion field. Dr. Okafor continued. Simultaneously, our infiltration teams introduced a tailored nanovirus into 17 Concordat shipyards. It's benign for now, but with one signal it will reduce every ship under construction to molecular slag. The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted, translators screeched, guards reached for weapons. Chen's voice cut through the noise like a blade. "And 12 minutes ago, every human colony you thought you'd captured activated Protocol Scorched Earth. Those aren't our colonies anymore. They're tombs, sealed radiation-flooded tombs that will take centuries to decontaminate. Congratulations, you've conquered worthless rocks." "You're bluffing," Vexra hissed, but her confidence had cracked. "Humans don't bluff about survival," Chen replied coldly. "We've been the underdog since we climbed out of caves and faced predators twice our size. We learned early. If something bigger wants to kill you, you don't fight fair. You fight dirty. You fight smart. You make them regret ever noticing you existed." She stepped closer to Krelnax, who involuntarily retreated. "You called this a peace treaty. You called it generous. But we know a surrender demand when we hear one, so here's ours. You will withdraw from all human territories. You will provide reparations for damaged colonies. You will recognize humanity's sovereignty and right to self-determination. And you will never ever threaten us again. And if we refuse? Krelnax managed to ask. Park's smile was predatory. Then we activate everything. Your trade routes collapse. Your shipyards die. And humanity? We've already evacuated Earth's population to classified locations. We're ready to go underground for generations if necessary. We've done it before, survived ice ages, plagues, world wars. We're really, really good at surviving. But you would lose everything, Vexra protested weakly. So would you, Dr. Okafor said. The difference is we're willing to accept that cost, are you? Can your perfect concordate survive the chaos of losing your economic infrastructure? Can your member species maintain unity when trade collapses and resources vanish? Can your 5,000-year-old peace survive the shame of being brought to your knees by a species that learned to split atoms less than 400 years ago? The silence that followed was absolute. Finally, Chen spoke again, her voice softer but no less firm. We didn't want this war. We never wanted to be warriors. We wanted to explore, to learn, to make friends among the stars. You forced this on us. But make no mistake, if you push humanity into a corner, we will burn down everything, including ourselves, before we submit. That's not a threat. It's a promise written in the ashes of every empire that ever underestimated us. High Counselor Vexra looked around the chamber at her fellow delegates. She saw uncertainty, fear, and the dawning realization that they had catastrophically misjudged their opponent. Perhaps, she said slowly, we should discuss your terms. Chen nodded. I thought you might see it that way. Now then, let's talk about what a real peace treaty looks like. As negotiations began, Krelnax leaned toward a fellow ambassador. I thought they were a young species, naive, weak. They are young, the other replied quietly. But they're not weak. They're survivors. And survivors are the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. Outside the station's viewports, human ships held their positions, weapons cold but ready. Inside, 3 humans rewrote the terms of galactic power. Not through strength of arms alone, but through the one thing humanity had perfected over millennia of struggle. The absolute refusal to give up, no matter the odds. The Concordat had called it a peace treaty. Humanity had shown them what surrender really looked like, and who would be doing the surrendering.